It's Kara with Sift by Kara. Oh, wait. Hi. This whole going live bit, we're live now. I'm Kara with Sift by Kara, and today we're going to do buttercream cakes. I'm going to show you some interesting techniques that are fun and not as time consuming as doing them in fondant. Some of you may have customers that say, I hate that fondue stuff. Well, some techniques we just can't do without fondant, but there are some that can be done with buttercream. So I'm going to show you a few today. I do want to introduce my lovely friend, Jennifer England. Say hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
She is with La Bella Torta, and where are you, Jennifer? Exactly.
I'm in Virginia.
You're in Virginia. So if you're in Virginia or know anyone that needs cake in Virginia, look up La Bella Torta, Jennifer England. Thanks for hanging with me today, Jennifer.
Anytime, sweetheart.
She is going to be looking at the questions that come up. So if you can open up your Q&A, Jennifer.
I did.
Great. So she'll feed me the questions if you have any questions. If you're looking at your YouTube page right now, there should be a little box in the screen that says join the conversation. Click on here. So you want to click on that. It's going to bring you into another room where you're going to be able to type in a question. So get your questions in. We are live. I'm hoping not to go longer than in half an hour or 40 minutes. So you definitely want to get your questions in now. If you are viewing this broadcast after we have gone live and you're, excuse me, you're looking at the recording, then just go ahead and type your questions underneath the YouTube video, and I'll be sure to answer them. You can also email me, info@siftbykara.com, and I will do my best to answer your questions pertaining to what we are going to be talking about today. A couple of things I want to talk about. Some of you guys have asked, well, let's look at the cakes that I'm going to be showing you guys how to do. So here we have our beautiful, what do we call that, Jennifer? A buttercream spiral.
Ruffle rose.
Ruffle rose, is that what you said?
I think in fondant everyone calls it the ruffled rose cake.
A ruffled rose cake or rolled rose cake or something of that. Well, we're going to do it with buttercream. And so I did this one just this past weekend for a friend. And it just turned out so beautiful, and I wanted to show you guys how to do that. We're also going to show you how to do this sort of ruffled. I've been seeing this cake a lot lately with fondant. I think you take like a 5-petal cutter of fondant, you ruffle the edges, you fold them in, you bunch them up, and you stick them all over the cake. So whatever the name of that is, we're going to be doing something very similar, but again, using buttercream. And then this one down here in the left-hand corner, that is, we've seen that forever. I believe I first saw this with Sweet and Saucy. And it's just using a petal tip going all the way up the side. So that'll be a quick little show later. And then, of course, we have this really pretty cake using different colored buttercream rolled roses and place them all over your cake. So I'm going to show you guys, talk about and show you guys how to accomplish this look. Some of you have asked me about my wafer paper flowers. Will I be showing those today? No, I will not be showing you how to make those today, only because out of good conscience, I cannot show you something that I learned from Stevie over there at Hey There Cupcake. She has a craftsy class, and I learned how to make these rolled roses, and sort of the basis of my wafer paper flowers I learned from her class. So let me come back over to myself. So I can't show you guys that because that would just be not nice, and I wouldn't want that anyone to do that to me. So I will give you some hints about it. This is the centers of my flowers, and again, Stevie will show you how to do that. But just to give you a hint, in case you don't want to go and buy her class, which by the way is 50% off today over Craftsy, so go get it. Google rolled paper roses, and it'll give you an idea of how to do this. And another hint, piping gel. That's all I'm going to tell you. Okay. Another thing that I do, and I highly suggest if you're going to be doing wafer paper flowers, is to get you some circle punch cutters. I have 3 different sizes here. This is a 3-inch, this is a 2-inch, and this is a 1.5-inch. And I typically use just these 2. These are the only 2 sizes that you see on the cakes that I just showed you. This is how I start my petals. So I'll make round, or I'll cut out the round circles. I have some here. Uh-oh. And then I will start cutting them into sort of a teardrop shape. So I'll trim them even further. It's just a faster approach than sort of hand cutting them or tracing. So just faster to do it this way. So again, that's all I'm going to show you on the wafer paper flowers. I really honestly wish I could show you more, but I just love Stevie, and I really think that her class is sort of a must-get class if you are interested in starting on wafer paper flowers. So, okay, so that's all I'm going to say. I do have a couple of wafer paper flowers swirling around up here in my noggin that I'm thinking about putting together, and if I do that, then that class I will offer to you. So, but that is my go-to flower, and I learned it all from Stevie. All right, so let's move on to our cake. Again, I do not want this to go an hour long. It should relatively be easy. So I'm going to get we're going to start with the rolled, what do we call this? The rolled rose?
Yeah.
Ruffled rose cake or swirl. I think I called it a spiral cake. It looks, it's very intimidating. I started one side. Just, again, I'm not going to do the whole cake for you guys today, but we're going to get a lot done. You'll get the gist of it, I promise. How in the world do you get this onto the cake? Well, this is actually a styrofoam cake, but most likely you'll be doing this on real cake, and to hold it at an angle, well, you know, that sucker is just probably going to collapse and fall over, so we can't do that. But what we can do is we can start our flower flat onto a surface. So we're going to start the inside of our rolled rose, spiral rose, with our buttercream. So that's what I'm going to start showing you guys now. So I'm going to put this back. And I'm going to, oh wait, one more thing. I went ahead and you can see I marked around, so this is a crumb coated cake. I marked around my cake. Can you see that, Jennifer? That's coming through.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I found the largest circle cutter I had, and I evenly marked around my cake. That way I have an idea of where we're going to start. I then took a smaller circle cutter, one that when I place onto the cake, the whole surface of the cake is going to sit, it's going to, or I'm sorry, the whole surface of the cutter is going to be flat onto the cake. Now, if you'll notice, my round cutter here, it will not sit flat. We're open on each end. So in order to get that, I have to roll my cutter. Hard to see with my hand in the way. Uh-oh. To roll my cutter kind of back and forth to get the mark. Well, yeah, you think, oh, I can maybe start the whole flower with this size, but then you'll see later, because it's not sitting flat, that's not going to work. So we can't do that option. Or maybe you can. Try it out and let me know how you like it, but my logic says that's not going to work. So I'm going to switch cameras. 1 second. We are live, people. We are live. You will see me having to switch around my cameras just so I can make sure you guys get a angle. Okay. You see my hands? Okay. So we're going to, the first thing you want to do is you want to get some parchment paper. I actually have a stack of deli wrap paper and I use that. It's just so quick and easy. So I made cut little squares out, and then I took the, where's my camera? Oh, there you go. I took my circle cutter, and with a pencil I just marked around the edge. That way I know where I needed to start and where I needed to stop. I only need 6 centers, so and I've actually already done my 6 centers, but I'm going to show you how to do them. So we're going to do this buttercream spiral cake using a tip 104. I'm sure you have that tip in your, you cannot be a cake decorator and not have this tip. I think it comes in every cake decorating kit. It's what most bakeries use to make the roses out of buttercream, and they place on top of their cake or sheet cakes or what have you. So the same thing. This is the tip that we're going to use for these spiral buttercream ribbon rose, ruffle rose, as well as the ruffle rose going up vertically up the side of the cake. So I've got my piping bag. I've got pink buttercream. Oh, let's talk about buttercreams. I use Swiss meringue buttercream. Remind me, and I will post the recipe that I use underneath the YouTube video. I love Swiss meringue. It's so smooth. It's yummy. In my opinion, it's not gritty like American buttercream. This buttercream will not crust on you. So you have to, yeah, it's not going to crust. It's going to stay yummy and smooth. It will, however, firm up beautifully in the refrigerator or the freezer. So, and I'm going to show you why we're going to be using the freezer soon. So to start this center of our ribbon rose, I'm just going to put a little dollop on my surface here. And I'm using my turntable. You can use, let me zoom out so you can see what I'm doing here. So I have my turntable here. You can use a little, oh, Jen, help me out. What is that called?
Flower nail.
What's it called again?
It's a flower nail.
Yes. See, I don't even use that sucker. That's why I don't know. I have one. I don't know where it is. But I don't like using it, and I'll tell you why. So let's say this is my flower nail. In order to go all the way around the nail, I mean, you got to wind up your wrist and just spin it, and you have to stop. With a turntable, there's no stopping. I can just spin that turntable around. So that's why I'm using a turntable. I'm going to tighten back in here so we can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I have my pencil mark. It's okay if you put buttercream over the pencil. No one's going to die. But if you're really specific about, I don't want pencil near my cake, trust me, they're not going to die. Just flip it over, and I can still see my marking on the back side. So I'm going to start with the fat end of my tip down onto the center. And, oh, let me show you placement of my hand. I'm cupping the bag, and my pressure is coming from my palm and not my fingers. So my whole palm is going to be holding the pressure. Maybe I should zoom out. So my whole palm like that, okay? And I'm holding my hand like this. Okay, so zooming back in. Live TV, people, live TV. Coming your way. Okay. All right, that's good. Okay, so in the middle, holding up, I'm going to apply pressure, and I'm just starting. I'm being careful not to, I mean, be really careful about how much pressure you're using. And I'm just going to, ever so easy, create a really tight center there. Leaving the tip, the fat end of my tip is actually scraping along the bottom of the board here. It keeps me steady because I'm a shaker. And I'm just going to apply pressure. Oh, I'm moving. I'm applying pressure and turning my turntable, keeping close and going all the way around. If you get a little faster if you can. And you can make these any size you want. But for the purposes of our ribbon rose, ruffle rose cake, I'm going to make sure that I am going as large as that marked circle is. I'm a little off to the side, but that's okay. I'm going to guesstimate covering the whole thing. And I'm going to pull off. Well, that was easy.
Yes,
Let's do another one. So I'm going to put this onto a tray, and I'm going to do several of these, and I'm going to stick those into the freezer. Because we need freezer to get it all nice and firm for us so that we can pick it up later. Okay, doing one more. Remember, guys, you can go back and watch this video again. So I'm only going to do one more because you can go and rewind later as many times as you want. Okay, so starting in the middle, I'm going around and I'm making a really tight center. And then going around. So, I mean, you could even stop right there if you wanted to. This goes back to the rose cake that was sort of cascading up the side of a very clean finish cake. This is basically the same thing you would do. You would make a bunch of these flowers in all various different colors, different sizes, until you can make them big, you can make them small, you can make them tiny, you can make them medium. That is how you would do that. And then later I'm going to show you guys how to attach them to your cakes. I think there was a question, Jen.
Oh, so the tip is always touching the paper, correct?
Mine is, yes. Sometimes I will find that I might need to pick it up a little bit. But really, I am dragging, and I'm only doing that very lightly. Uh-oh, see, I broke right there. I'm just going to go back and sort of fill it in. And the beauty about buttercream is that it's not supposed to look like fondant. But yes, my tip is sort of dragging along because it just keeps me steady. Otherwise, if I hold it up, I'm like a shaker. And you'll see me shaking a lot in a minute when we go to the cake. Okay, so that is how we make those. So I'm going to put these, like I said, on a tray and into the freezer. And we're back to me. Okay. So that wasn't hard, right? That was easy?
No.
Practice, people. Practice, practice, practice. I'm just gonna. Okay. So please don't think that after watching this video that you're going to be a pro. You will need to practice. You do not need to practice with real cake. You can practice with a dummy cake. All of the cakes that we're using today are dummy cakes. This is a dummy cake, and I wrapped it in plastic wrap, and I did a quick crumb coat of my Swiss meringue buttercream. So I have something for when I go to pipe for that buttercream to attach to. So get you a dummy cake, cover it in plastic wrap, and the only thing that you will be spending money on would be the butter, because it's expensive now, people. Oh my goodness. For the Swiss meringue. But as long as you're working cleanly, you can reuse this again, because I'll just go and scrape this off and put it back in my freezer later. Again, make sure you're being clean about it, or otherwise use it for your family. I'm going to switch cameras around because we're going to get started. So give me a moment. If there's any questions, please let me know. Adjust my camera over here. Okay, switch cameras. Okay, and Jen, please just let me know if the angle or something is not good.
I think it's quite clear.
Is it clear now? Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
So skip ahead. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is, I've already started one side here. I'm just going to show you two more sides, and then how to sort of finish the look. And then we'll do another demo on the other side of the cake, going up the cake, and then I'm going to show you how I finish the top. All right, so the first thing, this part is tricky in how you are going to be holding your hand, I am actually, let me zoom out so you can see my setup. I am stacked high, and I'm sitting on a chair because I really want to be able to get under and kind of get eye level. If I was standing above it, that is just a weird sort of angle to try to guide my piping bag. So depending on how tall you are, or your work surfaces and everything, you want to make sure that you're comfortable and that you are in a position to do your best piping work. So that's, I'm up high and I'm sitting on a stool next to the cake. So I'm going to tighten back in so we can see some good work. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to grab one of my frozen centers. So I have a frozen center here. And, okay, so I'm peeling it off the paper, and I can touch it. You only have a few moments, so you want to work fast. I'm going to keep the other ones into the freezer. I'm going to pipe a little bit of buttercream.
Off camera.
I'm off camera? Okay. I'm piping a little bit of buttercream onto the back. And let's see, where's my stir? And I'm going to line it up into that center section and press. And I can press on it right now because it's still frozen. So that's why you want to freeze this. If we were going to do the cascading roses, you would pretty much do the same thing. You would take them out sort of one at a time, position them, or put a little buttercream on the back, and then position them onto the cake, pressing into the cake. So that's how you would do that cake. That was easy. You'd make a bunch of these roses, freeze them, a little buttercream on the back, press it on. Now when it comes to room temperature, this is going to be just smooth, silky yumminess. But for the purposes of decorating, we do what we need to do. So back to, you don't want to have a lot of, this is probably, I might have to get rid of some of this buttercream. It's probably too much, but we'll see how it works. But you don't want a lot of buttercream in your bag because it just becomes too much to try to maneuver. So how we start with the fat end of the tip 104, kind of resting onto the cake, right around the center, I'm just going to pipe. Oops, see, you got to keep adjusting your position. I'm going to pipe along until it's just uncomfortable for me, and I'm going to pull off. Then I'm going to, I have to move this closer. Can we still see?
You're off camera now to the right.
Okay.
There.
So now I'm going to, where I ended, underneath, again, making sure the fat end of my tip is resting, kind of resting. You don't want to damage your cake. Excuse me. I'm going to connect and come around and I'm just going to keep going back, and I'm always cleaning. Keep your tip clean. Also, if you'll notice, I'm kind of holding my bag differently, kind of like as I maybe would hold it if I was writing. And I'm gathering up my ends, so I'm kind of holding my bag sort of like this. Making sure I'm wound up tight and holding my bag. So again, the fat tip down, I'm just going to go around until it just becomes, and where I end it, I'm going to overlap so that it gives the illusion that it's still connected. You'll have to practice working on your pressure. Oh, and we're coming off. I just moved it up, but if I'm good, and around. So I'm just going to keep going. This is why I'm not going to do the whole cake for you guys, because you do not want to sit here while I actually do the whole thing. So if you'll see here, kind of, it's kind of off right there. With my tip, I'm just going to move it in. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to this side. Can we see?
Yep.
And I'm doing my best to make sure that my icing does connect to the cake. Now this part, this area is going to be tricky. You see how close these two are? So it gets a little scary because I don't want to damage the buttercream on this side. So you do have to sort of barely put your tip in there and work around. And I'm going back around this side. So I'm constantly changing up my angle. Now I think I want to try to get one more in between these two spaces here. So I'm going to start where it's most comfortable. Oh, you can't even see that. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to work so you can see it. I'm going to start here. And I'm barely touching, but I'm going to try to squeeze it into that area. And around. How's that look, Jen?
I think it looks great.
Am I being clear enough?
Yes.
Okay. This part under here is very tricky, you guys. You might even want to have your cake not maybe on such a big board like this, because this part is starting to get in my way. So you can do this cake on a board or on the board that you're actually going to be displaying it on. That would be great. Or just make sure your cake is just really chilled before you transfer it over. But that's also why you don't want a lot of buttercream in your bag, because it'll be harder for you to hold. Okay, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster now so that we're not spending the whole time doing this. Maybe I'll just do just this one for you guys. I don't know. Unless you guys tell me you want me to do the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but let me know. But I do want to show you sort of the connecting. Okay, so now these two pieces are touching right there. But now we need to fill in the bottom part. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start on the bottom of this one here and fill in and pull out. And I'm going to do another one and pull out. And then I'm going to come to this side. You see my shaking hands. And pull out. And then another one. Oh, change up I'm cleaning. I have to adjust my bag. So I really want to get that buttercream tight. And I'm folding in, lining up the fat end, cleaning it off, and doing my best to get it in there. Now, do you see, the last pass, I kind of damaged the one ahead of it, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet, because when it's all done, I'm going to look at it and see, does it really matter? And now I'm going to take a little spatula here and just sort of carefully kind of lift up these edges. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm just going to keep going around. Until I fill in the whole bottom. And if I need to use a little spatula to sort of lift, we'll do that. Now in this section here, you can just keep piping in. I'm going to go over, I might block the camera. but I'm reaching over my cake, making sure I'm not touching my cake. But this just seems to help a little bit better positioning. So I just have this little area down here. Oh, you can't see. And I'm going to use my spatula to kind of clean up. And I'm going to go back on the top and come around. And I'm staying close. I need to fix this side. You can see when you start where you stop, the ends tend to just sort of melt into each other, so you don't see a lot of the breakage, I guess, or it's hard to recognize when you started and when you stopped, which is good. We want it to look continuous, but I don't know anyone that could probably do it continuously. So we have two. I didn't get that side yet, but I'm going to show you this connection here. I'm going to go back and fill in this area. Remember, the fat edge is always into the cake. We've got construction going on next door. Sorry for that. So I'm getting to the top. And here you can sort of go across. Maybe a little. And then I would start the next side. Should I do another one? I know that took a little long.
I think the basic premise is quite clear. I think you've made it quite clear. I think it looks great.
Yeah, and you would just continue to go. I'm going to do one more, and I'm just going to concentrate on one side of it, just so that you can get sort of a full, at least one in the middle that's fully covered. So I'm grabbing another frozen center. It peels right off. You can handle it. You can place it wherever you want on your cake. I'm putting a dollop. I'm going to go on this side. Place it in the center. Push it into my cake there. And that's why you want, because this sits flat on the cake. If I were to do a big one like this, which probably could do, it's not going to curve around the cake. It's going to stick out. And then it's just going to be a problem. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can quickly at least concentrate on this side so we can get a clear view of one full rose. So again, concentrating on this side. The fat end is into my cake. And I'm just going around.
So just to reiterate, as we're watching, this would not work with a shortening-based buttercream because the roses would not get hard.
Now, if you are using a shortening-based buttercream, my suggestion is that you make them a couple of days ahead and let them sit out so that they crust over and you can handle them. That's if that's what your preferred method of buttercream is. But I don't use that buttercream, so I can't speak about it too much. But I would assume that if it is a crusting, you have to give it time to do that. So doing that a couple of days would work before you do the final. Now, normally I wouldn't just cut it off right there, but I'm trying to just get so that we can see that. I'm going to move faster. I'm not boring you. It's the only thing about live. If there are any questions, please type them in. So I'm just going to finish this. And I'm actually doing a different sort of idea of sort of going back and forth, which will help to not have such a hard stop and go line. Oh, look how pretty! I love it.
Lovely.
Okay, I'm just going to finish this little section and then we can go, oh, look at the beautiful work we did. Okay, so here's where I have to switch hands. I'm going to go left on you because I just can't seem to get, it's not that comfortable, so you might have to learn how to be left-handers if you aren't. And I'm just using my left hand to go up. Am I blocking? I'm blocking that. Sorry. I don't know how not to block the camera. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
You are a better lefty than me, my dear.
Oh my gosh. That's nerve-wracking. Okay, my head is in the way. I'm almost done, guys, with this side. I'm a little sloppy. You obviously would probably want to go a little bit slower. But you can see how I'm kind of damaging. So you just have to be careful there. And because I damaged it, I am going to go back and lightly pipe. And hopefully I'm not touching, just to sort of give a definition there.
Perfect.
So
if you would do this on a square cake, you would just prepare large roses and stick them directly to the cake, correct? Since it is not rounded. That is the question that's come in.
you know what? I have not done it on a square cake, but I like the way you think. I like that. I think because it is flat, then you have a better chance of the bigger rose just flat. Now, you just have to see, you know, if you're doing it on the turntable, like I showed you at the beginning, you can make that rose pretty much any size and just let it chill up. And you saw how easy I can manipulate it once it was frozen. So that would be a very smart suggestion for a square cake. So I would assume square cakes were probably a lot easier to do this method on. So that's it, guys. You can see, oh, don't look over there. I didn't finish it, but you can kind of get the idea of going all the way around the cake. So let's move on to the other side. And I'm going to, you guys probably already know how to do this one. This one has been around forever, almost. Probably one of the first ones I've learned how to do, and that is the vertical buttercream ruffle. And what you want to do is you want to stand up and get so that you're kind of over your cake, and you want to make sure that the skinny part of the rose tip 104 is facing out. And you want to start in the back. Jen, can you see that? Because I'm looking at my cake.
Yes.
And I have one finger on the knob, and I'm just going, ooh, and I had a blowout. But it's not too bad. I'm just going to keep going over it. And I'm just steady pressure, trying to do my best to make sure that I am keeping the same width all the way up the cake. Oh, I'm a little lopsided. Don't do that.
It's easy to just take the edge of a metal ruler and mark lines to keep to the straight up and down.
See, that's why Jennifer is with us today. She's smarter than I am.
Oh, not at all. You're doing it live, honey.
No, right? Whose idea was that? Okay, I'm actually pushing the whole thing over. But I like Jennifer's idea, and that's to...
You could even use your favorite tool, the Fat Girl Scraper.
Oh, yeah, like that.
Level to the board. Just make a little mark.
Do I have that nearby? Oh, I do. I always have my Fat Girl Spit Scraper nearby. Fat Girl. Love her. So you can make little lines going up and down so that you... So you would do, can you see that? I know I have the lines going. I actually go the other way though. I like going this way. So I'll start. And then right next to it, I'll go right up to where I end it, go over to the line, and go all the way up. Now that Genius Jen said use a marker, it's so much easier. That one's much better. I'll do one more for you guys. All the way up. I'm using my finger. It helps the shakies. Oh, my turntable's moving on me. Don't move. Probably best not to do this on a turntable.
Lovely.
Okay, well that's that. You just continue doing that all the way around the cake, and use a ruler, or if you have a bench scraper, that's good too. Now I want to see if I can position it so you can see the top. I do the same top on most of my Ruffle cakes. And it's the same as doing a rolled ribbon rose. I'm going to start. Is that?
Yep.
That? I'm going to start in the middle of my cake, spinning my cake around, making sure the fat edge is down, and I'm just going to do, I'm going to change that position. And you would do this. Actually, I want to get in front of it. Probably need more in my bag at this point. This is not enough. But I'm going to give you the idea. So actually, I was over here. I don't want to be in this position where the spin, I'm not ahead of the spin, if that makes sense. I want to be ahead of the spin so that I'm always going in. And I would do this all the way around. Now, if I come out, sort of angle my tip out, the frill, I guess, the ribbon will stand up more. So if you were to angle it straight up or angle it out just a little, can we see that? Or do I need to get a closer view?
I cannot see the top. I can see what you're doing, but we can't see how it's standing up more or.
Let me see. Let me move it. Move my table. Is that a little bit better?
Yes.
A little bit?
Yes.
I need a camera on my ceiling. Then we can really see what I'm doing. So I'm just spinning around. Just keep spinning. Just keep spinning. Is that from Dory? Just keep spinning.
I love Finding Nemo.
Yes. Okay, so that would cover the entire surface of the cake. And you would just keep going all the way around. I don't have enough buttercream in this bag to do that. But that is pretty much how we do all 4 of those. Oh, no, I didn't show you the last one. Let's move on to that one. So that's how we do the ruffle up the side. Again, I love Swiss meringue buttercream. It's just so easy, I think, to work with. I remember doing this ruffle with American buttercream, and I had carpal tunnel. I'm pretty sure I got carpal tunnel that day. It was horrific. My hand doesn't hurt, you guys, doing all this piping with Swiss meringue. So easy. And let's take a look at that. That's gorgeous. If you go back and you say, I don't kind of like the way that looks, again, using a little bit of spatula, you can sort of smooth out some of those edges. You can also go back in lightly to try to get a more defined edge as well. But I think overall for a buttercream cake, I think it's gorgeous. And you go all the way around your cake and then stack the rest of your cakes and do more designs. But I'm going to show you guys now how to do the last cake. Let me move my desk back a little bit. Don't mind the cleavage. Extra perfect. Okay, so for picture's sake, I only did half of it for you. We only need to see certain things on the picture.
We have one person reminding you to post the Swiss meringue recipe.
Yes, I'm going to do that. I promise. As soon as we end today, I'm going straight to the YouTube page and I'm going to post it underneath. It's actually Lauren Kitchen's recipe. She gave it out. She's so generous, and I actually really love it. I'm going to link a couple of different recipes. I tend to use Lauren Kitchen's recipe. I just slightly varied it for myself. I use unsalted butter. She uses salted. So I'm going to give you my version. But I will do that for you. Okay, so this tip is an Azteco, as I say that right? 403. And Jen tells me, oh, we have a really awesome friend. Her name is Shoba. And she found this tip for me and Jen. I think she gave one to Jen too. And she sent it. And I believe it's hard to find.
Very hard to find.
But Jen, you said something about you can get the 402s.
The 402 is much more readily available. I believe it's the 402. It's just a smaller version of that one. And it is more readily available than that one.
So here's another tip. And I haven't used this one yet. This is a 122. And I actually haven't used it, but just looking at it, I'm thinking it'll give you the same sort of effect that we want here with this. So this is a 122. I believe it's, how do you say that? Ateco, what is it?
I think it's just Ateco.
Ateco. You guys, I'm not always know about every little thing. I just know what works for me. So please forgive me if I don't pronounce things correctly. I just do what works, and this one works. So we're going to use this one. Again, if you can't find the 403, find the 402, or just pull out your tips and see which one works. This is the easiest cake ever, and I think it gives a really pretty effect. And all I'm doing is randomly typing and pulling out, pressing, typing, and pulling out little flurries of buttercream. So, and then I'm going to go in, can you see that? I'm going to go into this side, make another one. I'm going to just randomly all the way around the cake in no particular fashion, just so that it looks like a bunch of mushed up petals, like in the fondant 5-petal. I think they do 2 5-petals. They cut out 2 5-petal fondant. They ruffle the edges. They put them together. They fold them in. They sort of flutter them out, and they press them into the cake, and that's how you get that fondant look. But with buttercream, we can just go around randomly with this tip and make, I want to come around on this side.
Just to let our guests know, currently on Amazon, the 403 tip is in stock, which is a shock because it typically isn't. And with shipping, it winds up being $7.
How awesome! Oh, you guys.
And it's the 401 tip is the smaller, not the 402. It's awesome.
Okay, so listen. Help me out, Jen. Sandy Previty, Previty.
Oh, yes.
She just released some buttercream tutorials, and I believe she uses this tip on her flowers.
Yeah, they're incredible.
I don't know her business name.
White Flower? Is it White Flower Bakery, I believe? I'm going to look it up, and I'll let everyone know.
My orchid, we even want this woman to do a buttercream tutorial. And just so happened yesterday, I saw that she released some. So go check her out if you're into buttercream designs. She does some really cool things with this tip, I believe. Right, Jen? It's this tip.
It is Sandy Previty with the White Flower Cake Shop. She is quite incredible.
Oh my gosh. You guys need to run over there. I know I am. I'm getting her tutorial, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just had this tip and I thought, I want to see if I can do that cake that we normally see with fondant in buttercream, and I just started randomly throwing up, adding these little petals everywhere onto the cake randomly, and it turned out gorgeous. And that's it. That's all I'm doing, guys. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Get in there and practice. Grab your tips. Grab your Swiss meringue buttercream, and just have some fun with it. Look at that. No,
gorgeous.
But the overall look of it is really quite gorgeous. And it's so easy. And, you know, a lot of people don't like to taste the fondant. They always say, I don't want the fondant. You know, we don't have to be scared of trying to do things in buttercream. You can even paint on buttercream. I'll have to do a tutorial on that one day. But you can paint on buttercream, and There's just a lot to be done. I don't want people to be scared of buttercream, honestly. You know, buttercream is probably not the best on certain circumstances, like a wedding outside. You know, fondant with ganache underneath might be best. But, you know, I always tell my people the cake really needs to be in 70-degree temperatures, no more than 74 for all cakes, buttercream or not. So if people are going to be having an indoor reception of some sort, then and they don't. Oh, and then this doesn't have to be that expensive of a cake. That doesn't mean it has to be cheap, but it doesn't have to be that expensive. This for fondant, oh yeah, you better be charging people. That you're going to be sitting there for a while, cutting out those 5 petals and flooring or ruffling the edges. But this, I mean, hello, I'm almost done. How easy is that? And it's gorgeous.
Where's the easy button?
The easy button. Even our beautiful ruffled rose. I mean, honestly, that's not that. I'm telling you, it maybe take you an hour to do this in buttercream. It'll take you 9 in fondant.
That is not a joke.
No joke. But it's gorgeous. So I hope you guys try these techniques. I'm going to switch cameras. Come back over to you, talk to you a little bit. Oh, and we ended up going an hour after all, didn't we? Sorry, guys. I just started having so much fun. Any more questions? Someone said, is that a 403 tip? Yes. And Jen just said they are on Amazon right now.
They're $2 with $5 shipping, total cost of $7. They are almost never in stock. So if you want one, I'd order it right now.
And you should get it before you go over to the White Flower Cake Shop with Sandy. Say her name.
Brevity.
Brevity. Because I'm sure she uses this tip, and you'll want it. What else? That's it, guys. I don't know. Did I miss anything? I gave you everything. Again, sorry about the wafer paper flowers. I don't have my own signature one yet. The one I use is the one I learned from Stevie over at Hey There Cupcake. 50% off right now, Craftsy. I think it is a must buy, honestly. It really does give you a good foundation towards wafer paper flowers. So go check her out, and or Google. There's lots of wafer paper tutorials out there that are free also, and Google paper flowers and see how you can translate those into wafer paper. And Sandy Brevity, White Flower Cake Shop, she's got one going on right now. I'm going to go check her out. And I hope that you guys found these techniques really easy. If anyone should ask how to do it, I would love if you would send them my way to purchase the link to this live tutorial. Thank you so much for being with me today. Say goodbye, Jen.
Goodbye.
We love you, Jen. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, guys, remember you can rewatch this over and over and over and over again. Please don't share the link. Please don't share the link. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.